Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. My name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And today, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about how, listen, I got some information that Canadians are now facing 90-year mortgages just to be able to make it. And we're going to talk about how Canadians do mortgages and how we do mortgages in the US. All right. How we do mortgages here and how they do it in Canada and why they're doing 90-year mortgages. And let's see how we can, at the P.I.L.L method, how we can even turn 90-year mortgages into a blessing. So start inviting some folks in. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, start inviting people in, especially invite your friends and family members who are in Canada because we have some good news. Good morning, Coffee Brown. How are you doing this morning? We're barely hearing you, Coffee.
I'm in the gym, guys. So as soon as I walk out the gym.
Okay. All right. Listen, she's getting her gym on, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, folks, Coffee's going to be talking to us. She's here because you can't. She is on Clubhouse, and that's our audio app. And I may be, and that's how I can talk to people because most of you are going to come in here from YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. But listen, folks, today we have some powerful information as to why Canadians are dealing with mortgages that are not just because most Canadian mortgages are 25 years. Okay. But they have some things going in, they have some things happening that are just absolutely different from how we do mortgages here in the US. Okay. So here's one of the things that happens in Canada that does not happen here. And you'll be able to see the problem right away. All right. So here's what's happening in Canada. Every 5 years, they have to refinance their mortgages. Every 5 years, they have to refinance their mortgages. Now, here's the thing. Canadians have traditionally, compared to the US, very low interest rates, some in the ones and the twos. Are you hearing me? In the ones and the twos. Okay. If you have an interest rate of 2%, most people think that's a great interest rate. But because of the changes in the economy, the interest rates now are in the sevens. Now, listen, if you have an interest rate that's in the twos and you know something is coming up, you know that that is going to end, and you're already doing the math, and you see that going from a 2% interest rate into a 7 could be devastating. Now, one thing that is done in Canada that we're not doing here is to keep the payment where you won't lose your house. They are changing the amortization schedule from 25 to 30 to 40 to 50, and in some cases up to 90 years, so that the payment can be brought down to where we can actually make it. Now, why is that important? Why is that important to know? So we're going to be putting this on the screen. And if you are on Clubhouse and you want to see what we're doing, then I'm going to put a link in the chat so that you can actually see what's going on here. I also have an article from Newsweek that we're going to be taking a look at. And Coffee, as soon as you are able, I need you to jump in and interrupt because listen, I'm seeing that new PTR, that glamour shot. I mean, it looks good. Okay. I just want you to know, if nobody else told you, I'm telling you. Okay. And also interrupt me because I know you're going to you have other appointments, and I don't want to talk and use up your time because we want to hear from you as well. All right, so just know, interrupt me when you're ready. Let me see here. I'm going to oh, I was getting my link for YouTube, so people in Clubhouse will be able to check us out. So let me go ahead and copy this, and we're going to put this in. There we go. Oops, it didn't copy. Come on. Copy. And let's put this in. There we go. It's coming over now. All right. There you go. That's our live. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go ahead and can I put something on the screen here? First of all, let's take a look at this headline I got from Newsweek. Okay, I got this headline from Newsweek. So we're going to put that on the screen right now. And boom, we're going to put that on there, change that up, and add this to the screen. There we go. All right. All right. Here it says homeowners hit with 90-year mortgages as interest rates surge. Okay, as interest rates surge. So we're going to go through some of these things here that we see here from article. It says some homeowners are seeing mortgage periods rise from the typical 25 years. Now, like I said, Canadian mortgages are relatively low interest rates. I mean, in the ones and the twos. Okay, very rarely do you see a 3 or a 4. Okay. But the typical amortization time, the term is 25 years instead of 30 here in the U.S. They have variable rate mortgages where most of the mortgages in the U.S. are fixed rate mortgages. Okay, so years to let's see, a typical 25 years to a time span as high as 90 years amid skyrocketing interest rates. Mortgage experts say they've recently seen amortization periods, the length of time it takes to pay off a mortgage in full in Canada, go as high as 60, 70, and even 90 years for homeowners who have variable rate loans but fixed monthly payments. Now, you can have a variable rate loan but fixed monthly payment. So if your monthly payment is fixed, you can have a fixed monthly payment, which means if you have a payment that's fixed, your loan will automatically change the amortization so that you can keep the same payment, but the interest rate goes higher. Okay. Now I couldn't do all of the math involved here so you can see what I'm talking about. I just did some of it. All right. So we can actually see what happens. What do you have to do to keep a loan to where you can continue to make the payment? So I'm going to put on the screen here. Now, I did a little bit of research. Did you know that the median home price for a home in Toronto is like $1.2 million? That's the median home price in Toronto. $1.2 million. Okay. And then even a condo is over $1 million. All right. Even a condo is over $1 million. So what are we doing here? What can we do to understand what we're talking about? So I just put in a loan of $700,000. Okay. $700,000 at 2% for let me put it in for 25 years. That would be 300 payments. Okay, let me change that. Okay, so there we go. 25 payments. 25 years. All right. So the payment now is $2,966.98. $2,966.98 at 2%. All right. So now this person knows that in 5 years, they're going to have to refinance this loan because that's how mortgages work in Canada. They don't work like that here, where you can refinance if you want to, but Canadians are compelled to refinance every 5 years. And now interest rates are going up to 7 years. So let me take a look at, we have $700,000 at 2%. Let's go down to where they would, let's take a look at this payment where $1,800.31 goes to principal and $1,100 goes to interest. Now, the principal payment is actually higher than the interest payment here, but still, the interest payment, I believe, is still too high. $1,166 is still a lot of interest to pay, even at 2%. So now we're going to take a look at where we would be in 5 years. So in 5 years, that's 60 payments. We've paid this loan down to 586,498. I'm sorry, $494.99. So if we take this number, copy this, we're going to open this up, put in the $586,000 that we owe now, 586,000, paste that in there. All right. And now we have, let's see, 200, let's see, what we have down to, that's 60 payments. All right. That would be 240 payments left. Okay. Now it's at 7%. I want you to see what happens to this loan if we keep it right here. They have 240 payments left at 7% now. Look at the payment now. It goes to $4,547.09. $4,000. Okay. They paid their loan down to 586,000. All right. Their old payment used to be to 2,966. But because they are compelled to refinance, look at this. 4,547.09. Man, oh man. You know what? I gotta do some work on this. Let me do a little bit of work on this. Let me get this advertising out of the way because that's getting on my nerves. All right, so now we're going to put our calculator on the screen and look at the difference. Okay, so our new payment is 45. Delete that. $4,547.09. We're going to subtract from that the old payment. Okay, 229.66. Okay, where's my, there it is. Okay, we're going to subtract from that $2,966.98 equals $1,580. So you now have a payment that's potentially $1,500 more from one day to the next. Okay. One day you had a payment that was $1,500 less. You have to refinance it. And once that closes, now the next day, the next month, you have a payment that's $1,580 more, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, if you have if you want to keep that payment down, then what you have to do is increase the term. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can increase this term to now from 240 months. All right, we're going to increase this term. Let's go all the way to 90. All right, so we're going to go to 90 years. So that's 90 times 12. Okay, 90 times, okay, 90 years. Okay, well, how many payments in that? Okay, 90 years times 12, 1,080 payments. Lord have mercy. 1,080 payments. I had to do that twice. 1,080 payments. Okay, 12 months in a year, 90 years. Now, let's see what our payment would be at 7%. At least that brings it down to $3,427.63. Okay? So we go from 2966, but even at 90 years, we have 3427.67. So that is a difference. Let's now take a look at this difference. 3427.63. Okay. And so we're going to subtract from that our old payment of $29.66 and 98 cents. All right. Now that's only a difference of $460. So that's what they're looking at. A difference of $460 a month. And that's where we could have tunnel vision, ladies and gentlemen. That's where listen, I need everybody. I need you all, wherever you are, whether you're listening live or you are watching this live or the replay, I need you to invite everybody you know, whether they're in the US or in Canada, okay? Because what we're going to be teaching today applies to all mortgages on how to defeat this system. This system is insidious. This system of putting people in mortgages and giving them solutions that make the bank money without teaching people how amortization schedules actually work is next to criminal when we don't teach the people how these things work. Okay? It is important to know how your mortgage works. But for some reason, it's been okay not to teach it. And here's the other thing. For some reason, it's been okay not to even bother to learn. There's something wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen. There is something going on that we can be so conditioned that we just accept as a matter of fact that we have to pay these loans back the way the mortgage companies intend. We don't. Now, I need you to see something. Now, something that's horrendous. At 2%, on a $700,000 loan, these people, when they sign this, they say, well, if I can keep this 2% interest rate, the bank wants $190,000 in interest on a $700,000 loan. Okay? To keep my payment within $460, I have to go to a 90-year loan. I have to go to a 90-year loan because, I can't afford a $1,500 difference in my mortgage payment. That's just way too much. Now, I showed a $700 mortgage here. People in Toronto, in certain places in Canada, the median home price is $1.2 million. You can imagine what they're going through. So watch this. Now we're down to 586,000. Now it's at 7%. We had to go to 1,080 payments now to even keep the payment under $3,500. But now I need you to see what the new interest cost would be on this loan. $3,115,345. Lord have mercy. Are you seeing? Listen, are you all seeing this? Can I get some comments in the chat on this? Oh my gosh. Okay. Somebody said somebody is watching this. Sayed, says this happened to him. Syed, can you come up to the stage? Can you come up to the stage? Because you said this happened to you. So what are you in Canada? Click that microphone in the lower right-hand corner. That'll allow you to speak.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Yes, I am in Canada. So,
Are we telling the truth here, sir?
100%. Yeah, 100%. My mortgage was locked on 2.8%, and now it went up to 6.5, something like that.
Wow. And you have to refinance every 5 years. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, that's 100% correct.
Wow. So Syed, I'm going to show you something here that's going to be able to help you. Now, tell us what you're thinking and what you're feeling, because there are people here in the audience that would love to hear what you have to say about this.
Yeah, like my payments went up. So my mortgage payment was on a weekly basis, and it was $938 a week, and now it went up 1,350 something a week.
Wait a minute. You were paying weekly, $900 a week, and then just overnight it went to $1,300 a week.
1350 plus, I don't know, 1358, something like that.
Wow. Keep going, sir.
Yeah, so the thing is, but I didn't know that I can prolong the amortization rate, and now I'm struggling with this thing. I'm trying just to make it happen.
Okay, so let me show you what's happening, folks. Now, now in Canada, you can, in some of these banks, they are offering to increase your term. But be careful, because by increasing the term, you're going to increase how much interest you're going to pay. At 2% interest, this mortgage of $700,000, they want a total of $190,000 in interest, so that the payment can be kept within a normal range, okay? Within a normal range, not a $1,500 increase, but only a little over a $400 increase. They are offering 90-year mortgages, but now look at this at 7%, $3,115,345. That's how much interest. If you keep this loan for the rest of the term at 7% interest, this is how much interest they are gaining right now. I want to show you something here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you this. I want to show you what's going on now. The difference between these two loans. At 700,000 at 2%, at 700,000 at 2%, the payments were starting out at $1,800 going to principal. $1,800 going to principal, where $1,166 was going to interest. I still think that's too high, okay? But at least $1,800 was going to principal. When you increase the term, look at what it does to this loan. Now, mind you, they can stay in the house. Their payment only increases by like $450 or $60 a month. Let's just say the family can handle that particular increase, okay? But look at what it does to the loan. Oh my goodness. I need you to see this. If you're not if you're here in Clubhouse and you want to see this, you need to go on a separate device and look at this on YouTube. I have the link in the chat. Okay? When you increase the term to 90 years, look how much money goes to principal now. $6.41. $6.41 and $3,421.22 goes to interest. Listen, can I get some comments on this right here? Syed, what do you think about this for people who are taking this option and getting a 90-year mortgage where their principal payment now is only $6.41. And the next month, it goes to $6.45. What do you think about that?
Yes, sir. Like to be honest, first of all, people doesn't know how the mortgages work. As long as they are just thinking how to reduce the payments in order to deal with this thing. That's the only purpose of people in order to reduce the payments and in order to be affordable for them. And they don't care about whatever the margin goes to interest rate, whatever goes to the capital. So they don't like myself, I don't care if my payments reduce, but I didn't know that I can prolong the amortization rate. Definitely, I will talk to the bank regarding that.
Yes, please talk to your bank because I'm going to show you in just a minute. I hope you in a position to see this information because Mr. Cedric Lee, watching us on YouTube, says this is powerful information. All right, we're going to put that on the screen. Thank you, Cedric, for being here. And any of you who are watching us online, please go ahead and use the comment section. We need to hear from you as well. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, $6 and going to principal. I can I show you something with using this amortization schedule, Brett Whistle. You can get an idea of how much interest you're going to pay in 1 year and how much money goes to principal to pay down the loan in just 1 year. Can I show you this? If you pay the mortgage like the bank wants you to, only $79.42 will go to principal in the first year of this new loan. Because now remember, you have to keep this thing for 5 years, before it will change. I take that back. You do have to change every 5 years, but you can refinance like anytime you want. But you definitely have to do it in 5 years. What if the interest rates go up again? Oh my gosh. So here's what we're talking about. $79.42 goes to principal in the first year on this loan. $41,052.14 goes to interest. Can I repeat that? $41,000 goes to interest in the first year on this new loan, just so this family can stay in their house. They already have so much invested in it in the first 5 years at this 2% interest rate. And now the bank says, now because they have to refinance, they have a 7% interest rate. Only $79 will go to principal in the first year. And $41,000 goes to interest. But ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to do it that way. Can I share with you? Coffee Brown, listen, as soon as you're out of the gym, sweetheart, we need to hear from you because I know you got something to say about this.
I know that you are in the thick of things. Thanks for having me this morning. I really appreciate you. I know you know Taylor Made Speaks. He's over in Canada. And he always talks about everything that happens in Canada in regards to financially, how different it is from here in the United States. I'm excited to hear everything that you're going to share today. If you guys are open and interested in anything that I do, what I do, why I do it, when I do it, and how I do it, you can simply view my profile. I never want to take away from what Don is doing. He is amazing. He volunteered to come here to Houston, did our career day. Prayerfully, he'll be able to do it in 2024. Just a phenomenal being. He and his wife do such amazing things for the community. They're advocates, they're philanthropists. They do so much to give back. So, Don, we honor you today. The years that you've given since we've been in this app, since the inception over in the year 2000, you've just been a beacon of hope and light to so many people as far as financial freedom in our hue. We have never seen anything like this. You will never see anything like this. There is nobody that can compete or compare to what Don is doing, guys. Please get the book, do what he's talking about. If you're not in a position to do it, just be an affiliate. Send somebody else to be able to be blessed and to have the value added for their life to be free in 7 years. I just from being in this room myself, I have within the next 6 months, I'll be totally free, Don. No financial obligations at all. Literally walking in that scripture, owing no human anything but to love them according to the word of God. And it's so important, and you don't you guys, I'm a preacher. I can't help but preach. So just so you know, those biblical principles and truths are very, very real, regardless of who or what you subscribe to. A principle is timeless and it's irrefutable. And I'm excited because having come in this room with Don, learning from Don, just gleaning and just absorbing all the information literally caused me to be free financially from any form of bondage whatsoever. All of my businesses are paid for. Everything that I've owned is paid for. The vehicle I ride around in paid for. And even though Don, I'm getting ready to get into some debt to get a new vehicle and a couple other things that I want because I choose this form of debt intentionally. But I'm just saying all that to say this: we got to get ourselves to a place where we understand resources, we understand financial freedom, we understand what's going to happen if we get ourselves to a place called freedom. Do you understand that you can free your whole family just by you making a decision to walk in freedom? Let's say this, everybody needs to be saying this: I choose freedom. I renounce and reject debt. It's not God's will for us to be in debt. So anybody that tells you otherwise, they are lying and the truth is not in them. So Don, I yield my mic back to you. Thank you for being the beacon of hope, the prominent person, the voice of reason, the wisdom that God has placed inside your vessel is absolutely priceless. And I'm so honored and so proud and so humbled just to be in the same space with you, Don. So I yield back to you.
Thank you very much, Copy. Listen, if you're eighth graders, all right, if you do that thing again and you need the P.I.L.L method to come and talk to your eighth graders again, let me know. We will be there with bells on. Let me know as soon as it's ready, and we'll put it on the schedule.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate you, sir. Bless.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I'm getting ready to blow your minds right now. I need you to, if you're taking notes, all right, and I see that we've got more people watching us online. I don't need you just to take notes. I need you to go ahead and start sharing this out on Facebook. Share this link out on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Share it to everybody you know, especially those in Canada. I'm going to give you some information here. Please, if you need to see this, go to my link so that you can see it on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay? If you have a 90-year mortgage, this is what the bank is doing to you if you don't know how this thing reads. What I'm getting ready to tell you is absolutely the truth. And this is the truth that the banking institution does not want you to know. And I'm not telling you this as an infomercial to sell you something later. I'm telling you this is because you deserve to know. If you are in a financial bind, it is because you are doing what the gurus are telling you, what best practices are telling you, what the banking industry is promoting, this type of education, so that you can be in bondage forever. Okay? Now, this one thing, because I have Asperger's and it is now called autism spectrum disorder, I see the patterns here. And what I'm getting ready to show you will cause some cognitive dissonance, meaning you're going to be able to see it, but it's going to be hard for you to believe. But what I'm telling you is absolutely true. Start inviting some people in here. I need you to see this right now. Go to YouTube so that you can see it on another device. Okay, make sure you turn the volume down. And I need as many people of you that are in here on the Clubhouse right now, raise your hand. Raise your hand right now and come to the stage. Okay, come to the stage. And Coffee, if you can see people raising their hand, bring them up. All right. So we're going to invite Sheila up. All right. So keep on coming. Everybody come on up to the stage. I need as many people up here as possible to share this information out to everybody. I need you to see this. Let's just say that this first payment that these people are making, just so that they can stay in their home, they took a 90-year mortgage so that their payments would only increase by about $460. Okay, what did I have here? About, $460.65. Okay, because they had to refinance it. They had no choice. Canadians have to refinance every 5 years. They had a 2%. Now they have a 7. Now they have a 7%. Okay, now $6.41. They just made their very first payment. Let's say it's in January. $6.41 went to principal. $3,421.22 went to interest. In the next month, February, the principal payment will be, if they wait till February, $6.45, and $3,421.18 will go to interest. Okay? If your payment when you make your payment in January and you look at February's principal payment of $6.45, let me ask you all a question. All right? Let me ask you all a question. Do I have to wait till February to give the bank an additional $6.45? Put it in the chat or say it out loud. Go ahead, Sheila. What do you got to say?
No.
Yes, Sheila said no. Sheila, are you telling you don't have to wait? What can you do, Sheila?
Follow your plan.
Okay, so you can pay that $6.45 early?
Yes.
If you do, ladies and gentlemen, if you do, you're paid down to line 2 on this amortization schedule right here. You're paid down to line 2. Let me make the numbers just a little bit bigger. You're paid down to line 2, 500. So you're down to line 2 on this amortization schedule, and your very next payment for February is actually on line 3, where $6.48 goes to principal and $3,421.15 goes to interest. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I can't help myself. I can't help it. 6. What happened if we skip down to line 3 because we paid $6.45 early? What happened to this $3,421.18 on line 2? Sheila, what happened to that $3,421.18 on line 2?
Canceled.
Canceled. You mean this family, just because they paid $6.45 early, they have this 90-year mortgage. They're facing 90 years on this thing. Are you saying that they got rid of one line on their amortization schedule for only $6.45?
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness. So what would happen? What would happen if they made their mortgage payment? Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. I get so excited about this. I can't hardly stay in my seat. What I'm telling you is absolutely true. $6.41 going to principal in the first month. What if they decided to give the bank an extra $6.45 from line 2, line 3, and line 4? A little over $20. $20 extra on this loan because of how it's amortized. This is why the bank doesn't want you to know how an amortization schedule works. This is why you don't get it in 8th grade. This is why you don't get it in high school. This is why you don't get it in college or in grad school. I don't care if you're in business. I don't care if you're a CPA. You're not learning this. Okay? And you're getting it here today for $20 extra. Putting on this mortgage, you eliminate over $10,000 worth of interest you never have to pay. Syed, what do you say about that, sir?
That's fantastic, sir. Like, thanks for educating people for such kind of very valuable information.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's really, really great. Yeah.
Listen, listen, I need y'all to see this. And if you take a look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest right here, cumulative principal and cumulative interest, $79.42 would go to principal in the first year. Okay. Do you have, since you already know you're going to pay $79.42 to this mortgage to pay it down in 1 year? Here's my question. Do you have to pay the $79 in 12 monthly installments? Do you have to pay it in 12 monthly installments? $79.42. Ian Pedley online. Ian is tuning in from Australia right now. Okay, so he's on YouTube. He says, so if you just pay the principal amount per line, each line, it says each line you cancel the interest per line. You don't actually need to pay the full amount of the payment, just the equivalent of the principal. That is correct, Ian. As long as you listen, a little bit of principal here kills a whole ton of interest. Okay, so you can pay, listen, an ounce of interest paid paid early on this loan will kill a ton of interest. An ounce of principal kills a ton of interest. And I know for some of you, it's hard to believe that if you prepay $79.42, you eliminate one whole year off this mortgage and save yourself about $40,000 in interest you never have to pay. Oh my goodness. All because you're learning how to read an amortization schedule, even if you have a 90-year loan. In fact, if you have a 90-year loan, I need you to write this down. I need you all to write this down right now. Control the principal payment and you control the loan. And interest payments you skip don't matter. One more time. Control the principal payment and you control this loan. And interest payments you skip don't matter. So for $79, $80 added to their mortgage this month kills a whole year off this loan. Oh my goodness. Because it's now a 90-year loan. I wish somebody here in the US would offer me a 90-year loan. I would jump on it with both feet. Now that you all see this, do you have to be afraid of a higher interest? Because higher interest rates do the same thing. They lower the principal payment. I know some people who have had to get their loan modified. Okay. When you get your loan modified, sometimes they stretch that thing out to 40 to 45 years on a modification. If you have your loan modified because of some kind of financial difficulty you may have been in, just to stay in your home, to lower that payment, they will stretch that loan out to 40 to 45 years. And if they do, they're going to give you these tiny principal payments. So if you're in the US and you have a modified loan and it's 40 years, if you know someone who had to go through modification, chances are they have a 40 to a 45-year loan. Their principal payments are tiny and they can attack this loan just like this. I need to hear listen, if this information is mind-boggling to you, and it's hard to believe, put a number 9 in the chat, but I'm telling you, it is the absolute truth. Put a number 9 in the chat if this thing is mind-boggling. Okay? So Ian Pedley from Australia says here, hey, Don, I now have access to loans with a 40-year term with interest only. Oh my goodness. Listen, a 40-year term with interest only gives you ultimate control of your loan. Just because it says interest only. Now, here's how a loan works that's interest only. Okay? When you have an interest only loan, you have the option of just paying interest every month, but you pay nothing towards principal and your loan stays the same. Okay? Even if you keep it for 20 years, nothing goes to principal. If you start out with a $700,000 loan, it's 20 years from now with an interest only loan, you still owe $700,000 because all you paid was interest the whole time. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Listen to this. Listen to me closely. Even if you have an interest only loan, you don't have to pay just the interest. You can attack the principal with a vengeance with whatever monies you have available. The reason why I like an interest only loan is in your complete control, not only of the loan to save money, you are in control of how much your payment will be because your payment is based on how much you owe. Meaning, if you bring down the principal and you're paying interest only, that means your next payment has to be less because they're charging interest on how much you owe. So you are complete control, not only of the loan, but of your payment as well. Listen, give me a 40-year loan with an interest only option. Oh my gosh. I will murder that loan because every time I pay on principal, I save a ton of interest and I control my payment. So here's what I'm saying. If you don't get this, every time you put money on principal, I need you to see that you decrease how much you owe. If you decrease how much you owe, the amount of money that goes to the interest payment gets less and less and less each time you make a payment. So if you're putting money on principal, then the next time you have to pay, they can't charge you the same amount of interest because you don't owe the same amount of money. I mean, it's just that simple. Ladies and gentlemen, it is so mind-boggling to see this thing. I need you to really understand something here. For $100, now some of you are putting an extra $100 on your mortgages right now. Some of you are putting an extra $100 on your mortgage, but you have no idea how much interest you're saving. No idea at all how much interest you're saving. Do you know it is important to know how much interest you're saving so you can optimize your interest savings? So you can optimize it. With the P.I.L.L method, we optimize interest savings with the least amount of money that you can put towards principal. With the least amount of money you can put towards principal. For an extra $100, you kill $50,000 in interest and knock off 15 months off this loan. Listen, what if you had an extra $1,000, an extra $1,000 on this loan? You could pay $1,000 up front. What if you had an extra $1,000 sitting in the bank, making like 1/10 of 1%? I need you to show you that $1,000 on this loan knocks off 112 payments. And I need you, listen, if you don't see this, it is so hard to wrap your mind around it. An extra $1,000 applied to this loan saves you over $380,000 in interest you never have to pay. Canadians, $380,000 in interest you never have to pay because you gave the bank an extra $1,000 on your 7% loan because you have a 90-year term now. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? What if you're in the US? What if you're in the US and you have a 40-year loan? Okay. So the median home price in the US is let me see here. Median home price in US is $420,000. Okay, so we're going to bring this up. 420,000. Okay. At the interest rates are dropping. So let's put it in at 6.5. Okay, put it in at 6.5. 30 years. Okay. All right. Now let's say you have a 40-year loan. 40-year loan. Okay. So let me do this. 40 years. Okay, so we got 40 years times 12. That's 480 payments. Okay, 480 payments. That brings our payment to $2458.92. $2458.92. And let's take a look at our interest payments here. Our principal payments are $183.92. $183.92. By prepaying $184.92, you kill one line off this amortization schedule and you save $2274 in interest you never have to pay. $2,200 kills 1 year off this loan because you now have a 40-year mortgage. I wish somebody would give me a 40-year mortgage. 40 years at 6.5%. Do you know what kind of damage you could do to this loan? Do you know that there's no one else on the internet that's teaching this right now? If you go on YouTube right now and search for paying off your mortgage early, you're going to get a ton of videos that are 7 minutes long, 15 minutes long, maybe 20 minutes long, because our attention span is so short. Those are the ones that are getting a bunch of views. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They're not giving you any information. They're all saying the same things. All of them are giving you the same information over and over and over again. And none of them are talking about how much interest you are paying and how much interest you can save. The key to getting out of debt is controlling your interest cost on these loans. You can do this with your current budget. We do this all the time with our friends who finally reach out and say, Don, I want to get a savings and earnings report for free. I want to know how I can get a savings and earnings report for free. And you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free. Go to ice10k.com, ICE, the number 10, the letter K.com, ice10k.com, and click the button that says get a free savings and earnings report. Go ahead and do that because you deserve to know how a mortgage actually works so that you can get optimized interest savings. Now, I'll tell you right now, do you need the P.I.L.L method to pay off your loans early and save money? You absolutely do not. You don't need me. People have been paying off mortgages and student loans for years. They just take whatever money they have and throw it at the loan, but they have no idea. Here's the thing. They have no idea how much interest they're saving. They have no idea how to optimize interest savings. What does optimized interest savings mean? To optimize interest savings, you can figure out how much interest you can actually save. And then you put down how much money you paid to get the interest savings, do a little bit of division, and then you can figure out how much you're saving per dollar. How much interest you don't have to pay the bank per dollar you're putting on this loan. Let's just say you could save $6 in interest for every dollar you put on principal. Okay, maybe that's optimum. Let's say you can figure out what is optimum. You certainly wouldn't want to put yourself in a position by if you should give more at the wrong time. There's a point at which giving more is too much. And you are putting more on your loan than you need to. And the amount of interest that you're saving per dollar could drop down to $4 instead of the $6 you could get. Why is that important? Here's why it's important. Because you're not considering the opportunity cost of taking some of your money and putting it in a long-term investment so that you can make compound interest. You should have a strategy that where on one hand you could save money and on the other hand you can make money. This is why we have what's called an opportunity cost calculator. We will work with you and show you how you can save the maximum amount of interest you can per dollar, but you don't want to put too much into debt reduction because then you lose out on wealth creation by not putting enough money into wealth creation so that you can retire early and well. Are you hearing me, ladies and gentlemen? What good is a paid off house if you have no money when it's all done? Okay. So Mr. Cedric Lee is asking a question. Says, okay, that still cancels out the increase. Gotcha. All right. This is what he says. He's getting it. He's getting it, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting it. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for being here today, and share this with your family and friends. So what are we saying? What are we saying here? Okay. Greta, I see that you're in here, but you're not a member of our room and you're not following me or a friend. So reach out, click on my avatar here up at the top, Miss Greta, and become a friend. Let's become friends, and then also join the P.I.L.L Method House. All right. Let me send you an invitation. Okay, Greta's a guest. All right. I'm trying to. All right. Greta. Okay. I'm trying to send you an invitation, Greta, but it's not letting me. Go ahead and we want you to become a member of the house. Go ahead and do that. All right. So listen, folks, we need you to cancel out the interest here with the smallest amount of money you can come up with, not the largest amount. I know everything we're saying seems opposite. When you're dealing with amortization, everything we have learned is opposite from what should be happening so that you can save the maximum amount of money. When you borrow money from your bank or mortgage company, you want to save the maximum amount of interest that's possible. And I need your help in getting the information out. I need your help. In this next year coming up, we are going to be bringing on affiliates to help get the information out. And all you have to do is point people to these videos. And we will pay you. The P.I.L.L method will pay you if you will just point people to these videos that want to do something different on their loans. And if they want more information, then you just refer them to us. And when they become a client, we will pay you. Become an affiliate today. Go to my ICE 10K up top. Let me put it across the screen as well. Okay. Let me put my banners up here. All right. I need to put my banners up here. So, okay, get savings and earnings report. Okay. All right, let me see here. I'm going to put that all right to get a savings and earnings report. But you can go to ice10k.com even to become an affiliate. I got to put up a banner for that as well. You can become an affiliate. All right. And by sharing this information with others, I need your help. Okay. I need your help today. All right. So Ian says here, looking at the amortization table, you make 100% sense. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ian, for saying that. And Ian is a mortgage professional who's been in the mortgage business for decades. All right. And he is helping his clients to see this. All right. I need to go back to this 40. If you're in Canada, I need you to go back to this 40-year mortgage. Okay. I need you to go back to this thing and see. Once you see what you've got here, this is a 90-year mortgage. Once you see what we've got going on here, ladies and gentlemen, do you realize you may not want to change from this 90 years? Because if you prepay the right way, and here's how you would do this, all right? Take a look at your income. By tracking your income and your expenses, our opportunity cost calculator does this for you, but you don't need us to do this on your own. You could do it on your own. The only reason why you would want the P.I.L.L method is so that you could save the maximum amount of interest. Okay. If you're not worried about saving the maximum amount, you just want to save some, then you can do this on your own. So let me explain to you how you could save money on your own here. Track your expenses and track your income. How much are you spending each month? Okay, you could do a simplified budget. A simplified budget. A budget doesn't mean restrict yourself. A budget means know what you're spending and track your spending. How much are you making and how much are you spending each month just to pay your bills? Once you know what your bills are, you know how much money you have left over. Okay. Once you know how much money you have left over, then let's say you put some of that money, you can put that money in your savings account. I know it's not making much. But you can put that money in your savings account. And then as it builds up, okay, you could take money out of your savings account depending on who you are, every 2 to 4 months. Take lump sums out of your savings account. I mean, lump sums. I mean, big amounts of money out of your savings account because you put it there because it was left over after paying your bills. It doesn't feel like a sacrifice if you do that, because part of your bills here. Now, here's the real key to this. Part of your bills every month is how much money you want to spend on yourself and your family just to have some fun. Your fun money. Make it part of your budget. By making that a part of your budget, psychologically, you feel great because it doesn't feel like you're working just to pay bills. And once you spend that money, you know that you're not going to spend any more that month on just fun or vacations or whatever it is that's part of your budget. And any other monies you can put away in your savings account. And then you can choose how much of that money out of your savings account will go to principal. Boom. And you can save a ton of interest and a ton of time. You just won't know how much. Okay. Now, if you're interested in how to optimize that, then you want to get an AI computer system that does all of the math for you and finds out the least amount of money out of your savings account you can put on your debt, and the right formula for paying off the debt, because the average family has over 13 different debts, even in Canada. Okay. The average family has over 13 different debts, and paying your debt off in the right order will save you a maximum amount of interest. I don't care if you only have one debt, which is your mortgage. Listen, how much money does it take for you to be concerned about if you're wasting it? How much money do you want to waste? I'm just asking. Okay, everybody, how much money do you want to waste? Do you want to waste any money? If you could save $50,000 in interest on your mortgage, okay, if you could save $50,000 in interest on your mortgage, what if you could save $150,000 instead? Okay, Syed says no wasting at all. He doesn't want to waste anything. Okay, so have you all ever gone out and bought anything that you just absolutely enjoyed having? I mean, you are looking forward to buying this item and you bought it. And then you find out that you could have bought it for 50% less. How do you feel about that item now? What I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is you can save money on your own. You can cut your mortgage down on your own. But if you want to optimize and save more money in the interest than you could actually save on your own, then you need help. You need a computer system that is specifically designed to beat the bank at their own game. Do you need it to pay off early to save money? No. But do you need it to save the maximum amount of interest that's mathematically possible for you? You bet your bottom dollar. Okay? So how do you pay for something like that? With the money you're no longer paying the bank. If you could save $150,000, $200,000, $300,000 in interest that you never have to pay them, a small percentage of your savings pays for this program. A small percentage of the money you're already giving to the bank. Stop giving it to the bank. Take a small percentage of that money, pay for this lifetime program. And not only can you pay off this mortgage, but you can pay off the next one early and the next one. I have people who are paying off their third and fourth mortgages on this program. They only used a fraction of this interest savings from the first mortgage to pay for it. The rest of the money is gravy. So I'm just saying, do you need this You don't need it. But if you want to put yourself in a position where you're not wasting your money, go to ice10k.com and get a savings and earnings report and learn it for yourself. I want to show you something if you're a Canadian, all right? If you're a Canadian, all right, and you're watching this for the first time, we're going to do a recap on this situation. I have a $700,000 mortgage at 2%. My payment is $29.6698. The total amount of interest, if I could keep this 2%, is $190,000. The total interest paid over 25 years. That means the interest paid as a percentage of principal is 27%. So a 2% mortgage really means you're going to pay back 27% of what you owe. So the interest rate has always been a liar. The interest rate does not tell you how much interest you're actually going to pay. Okay? It doesn't talk to you about interest cost. 27% of what you owe. Now, after 5 years, you're going to have to refinance. You now owe $586,494.99. And this is it. Now you've got a 7% mortgage because you had to refinance. And some people are taking the option of getting a 90-year mortgage, which means now your payments are 1,080 payments, 1,080 months, which is 90 years, so that you can keep a reasonable mortgage amount. Now your total interest paid, if you keep this thing and do it the bank's way, is over $3 million in interest. Not 190,000. Now it's over $3 million in interest, which is total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 531%. 531%. Are you kidding me? Legally, this is being done to people? Oh, yes. Legally, it's being done. Do you know why? It's because we have never been taught how to read an amortization schedule. We've never been taught how this works. Okay. And now, because of that, we have principal payments that are tiny. I'm absolutely telling you, you can turn this into a blessing, and this mortgage can still be paid off in about 7 years because you can do this thing. All right. So Ian Pedley says, sorry, Don. Absolutely brilliant as always. It's midnight here. This is one of the best videos. Thank you, Ian, for being here. All right. Listen, folks, he's tuning in from Australia. He's going to catch the rest of it later. All right. But it's midnight in Australia, so he's going to go to bed. I can understand that. So, folks, I want to thank you for being here today. I wanted to get this out. And I want to thank everybody for being here. Syed, thank you for being here. Sheila, thank you for being here. Steve, thank you for being here. Okay. But we're getting ready to shut this down. I wanted to make sure that people were able to see this and understand it for themselves, that you can pay off this mortgage in about 7 years because you have these tiny principal payments. Look at this. Look at this. If you put your money away, let's say you're averaging, I get people that have between $1,000 and $5,000 in discretionary after after they pay all their bills. Can I give you an example? I already showed you what $1,000 could do. Can I show you what $5,000? If you're Canadian and you're in this situation, can I show you what $5,000 can do? Oh, Mr. Lee, you're in Fort Worth, Texas. I see that. All right. Thank you for tuning in from Fort Worth. I like that. Let me show you what you can do with $5,000, and then we're going to start to shut this thing down for today. All right. We're going to scroll down to, oh, by the way, if you want, here, I'm going to put this in the chat. If you want to do this for yourself, here's what you could do. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put that here in the comment section. All right. This is brettwhistle.net. You can play around with this thing on your own. Okay. Paste. Now, for Canada, the numbers are going to be a little bit off because Canadian mortgages pay slightly less interest cost overall than American mortgages. This is based on the American mortgage. So you want to find, if you want to be complete, you want to be more accurate, find an amortization schedule in Canada that gives you cumulative principal and cumulative interest. You want these two columns, cumulative principal and cumulative interest, so that you can have some idea of what's going on, so you don't have to take the time to add it up for yourself. So $5,000 cumulative principal. Let me show you what $5,000 prepaid to this loan will do. We'll just go to cumulative principal and go down to $5,000. Oh, wow. Listen, look what we're doing here. $5,000 prepaid on this loan. $5,000. Canadians, listen, are you seeing this? Do not despair. This is where your hope is. And let me show you something. $5,000 prepaid on this loan knocks off 295 payments, and saves over $1 million in interest you never have to pay. Listen, I'm almost emotional seeing this. I can't believe that someone in the banking institution. Listen, your bankers, people who own the bank, understand this process all too well. People who invest in mortgages understand this process all too well. There are people who right now, their whole job is when your bank gives you a mortgage, their whole job is to buy that mortgage paper from your bank so that they can receive this kind of interest payment. To pay this loan down by $5,000, to pay this loan down by $5,000 by making monthly payments, the investor that bought this mortgage from the bank would make $1 million in interest on this loan, and you've only paid the loan down by $5,000. But the investor that bought it makes $1 million. In 295 months. So 295 months. Okay, 295 months, and divided by 12 is 24 years. In 24 years, they make $1 million on this thing. That is crazy. That is crazy money. That is crazy money. But if you were to prepay the $5,000, you would knock off 24 years off a 90-year loan and save $1 million in interest. You can do something similar to your American mortgage if you just understood this. Why are we here week in and week out giving these live presentations to educate people and doing an hour and a half, and sometimes even 2 hours, when there are people out there that are talking about how to pay off a mortgage in 5 to 7 years or whatever they're doing, and their videos are only 15 minutes long. Why is that? Okay. Why are they getting so many views? Because it's the same information over and over again, and people can wrap their minds around what they've heard before. When you're hearing something new, it takes a lot of education to do something new and to do it the right way and to do it a different way, to do it a better way. Okay? So listen, as we wrap things up here, here's what Mr. Cedric Lee is saying is I worked for Countrywide Home. I'm going to put this on the screen because you guys need to see this. Okay? He says, I work for Countrywide Home Loans. I was advising homeowners during the 90s about this way of paying their loan and was released from my job. I was in the workout department. Okay. He was working with listen, there is a department in all of these companies that help people who get into trouble with their loans. Okay. Mr. Lee was part of that. Okay. But Countrywide, or whatever mortgage company he was working for, or you're working for, they have a way to help people to continue to pay their mortgage, but help you in a way that the bank still makes a lot of money. Mr. Lee, obviously, was telling the people who he was working with how to do it in a way that they save a ton of interest and they pay their loan off faster. Okay. See, here's at the P.I.L.L method. We're not telling you how to pay the loan off fast. We're showing you how to pay the loan off cheap. And obviously, Mr. Lee was showing them how to pay the loan off cheaper so that they wouldn't pay a lot of extra interest. And the problem with that, Mr. Lee, is that you have to tell the folks that our calls are being recorded for educational purposes. And so when your recordings were paid back, Mr. Lee was diverting from the company policy and telling the people that they could save even more interest and pay the loans off faster because of the interest savings, which means that the people who are investing in these loans aren't making as much money, which means that the people who have these loans can keep more money for themselves and invest in their own families and increase their net worth. Mr. Lee, that's why you lost your job. Mr. Lee, we applaud you for helping people to understand that they can have more money for themselves. Why is it that, listen, you don't have to have winners and losers. I still like borrowing money from the bank. They still make money from me, but I still get my money at a discount. See, listen, if I go to the department store, I still have to pay for my new suit or my new sweater or the new slacks I just bought. Okay? I still have to pay for it. But why should I pay retail when I could get perfectly good clothes that are stylish and I can get them off the sale rack and pay 50 to 60 to 70 to sometimes even 90% off? Why do I have to pay retail when I can get things at wholesale, when I can get them at a discount? Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to understand it's time that this is going to be a whole new industry. Interest cancellation is becoming a whole new industry, and it's starting here. Believe it, that you are able to get a mortgage or get a loan of any kind and pay 70, 80, up to 82% interest savings on your loans and borrow the same amount of money at the same interest rates that everybody else is getting the interest rates. You don't have to change your interest rate, but what you can do is change how much interest you're actually paying the bank. So as we wrap things up here in the last 5 minutes, I'm going to put this on the screen. My digital business card, ICE, 10K.com. This is what it looks like. Okay. The first picture you're going to see is Dr. Eric Thomas. Okay. Dr. Eric Thomas. Let me get this off the screen so you can see everything here. Okay. Dr. Eric Thomas. All right. And he paid off his mortgages because we had no hold on. Watch that little video. Okay. Because he talks about paying off his mortgage using the P.I.L.L method. All right. But you scroll down, you can get a savings and earnings report today. If you want to save the maximum amount of interest that you can with the least amount of money so that you can take the rest of your money and start investing in your family and growing your net worth with money that was previously going to the bank in interest. Stop throwing, and if you're trying to get out of debt, stop trying to throw all of your money at the debt. Like this guy in Nashville, Tennessee is talking about, Mr. Dave Ramsey. Take all of your money and throwing it at the debt. No, you want to pay the optimum amount of money. You want to pay the least amount of money that's going to save you the most in interest. Put that towards debt reduction, and then take the rest of that money and put it into some sort of investment. Get with your investment counselor, whoever it may be. We have some on our team, but you can use whoever you like. Take the rest of your money and put it into some sort of investment that's going to make you money. Okay? You want to do both. You want to save money and you want to make money. If you do that, I guarantee you, you will grow your net worth exponentially faster and greater so that you can pass that on to your family members. Get a savings and earnings report. Click on it, and this is what shows up. Okay, get a free savings and earnings report. Go ahead and get that today. All right. Also, here's what you want to do. Go back. We're going to go back and look right here. It says become an affiliate. Become an affiliate today. Fill this out. It takes 15 seconds. You can become an affiliate. All right. And just tell us your name, your phone number, your email, and how you want to get paid, and submit it. And you can become an affiliate. And just point people to these YouTube videos so that they can watch it and learn. And when you follow up with them, okay, you just follow up with them. And then you scroll down underneath my picture. And if they want more information, you can click on this button that says refer a friend. Then you fill out their name, their phone number, their email, their zip code, put in your phone number and your name, so we'll know who to attribute this to, and give us any comments that we need to help us to contact these individuals. And we'll take it from there. Once they become a client, and as we save the average client over $150,000 in interest they never have to pay, and get them out of debt in about 7 years. And that's all of their debt. Once they become a client, we will pay you. Okay? Well, and periodically we do trainings for affiliates. When you fill out the affiliate form, know this: you will not receive an immediate response. You will not receive an immediate response when you fill it out. But in about a week, you will receive an email welcoming you as an affiliate. And then you can go out and then we'll talk about giving you some ideas of how you can get started in that email, what you can do to get started. And from time to time, we have affiliate trainings. The next thing you want to take a look at, ladies and gentlemen, is getting my book. Okay, so let's go back to this and get the book. All right, get the P.I.L.L Method book, and there it is. Get the P.I.L.L Method book and start studying. All right, learning more about amortization schedules and how they actually work. All right, and then you can share it with family and friends. And then you won't feel all this cognitive dissonance that people are going through, because you're going to be able to understand an amortization better by reading the book. All right, there you go. So remember, ice10k.com, everything is there. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you go now. We're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas in giving the last word, and we'll be back on Friday and giving you more information on what is happening in the world today, in the world of finance, so that you can understand it better and get an education that's going to save you money and make you money. And this is why we exist. So let's go ahead and get ready to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas as we say goodbye to you. And thank you, everybody who came in from Clubhouse, watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn. I thank you for being here. And please, please, please share our YouTube channel with everybody you know, and become, what is that? Subscribe, like the videos, and comment, please, so that we can move our videos up in the algorithm and give people information they can actually use. Okay, let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas and see what he has to say about the P.I.L.L Method. My name is Don Daniel, founder of... Wrong video. Sorry about that. You don't hear from me. You want to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas. Here we go.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse, just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife, because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.